atmosphere in the workplace and feeling good about yourself and your work is crucial. Today we're going to touch on industrial psychology as we discover what corporate coaching is. We're joined by Karaburçak, a partner at Coaching House here in Turkey. Thank you very much for being here today.
Thank you, same to you.
Now let's begin by trying to understand what coaching is. Give us a definition of this new industry and how it developed over the last 10 years.
Actually, coaching is really new. It's very new in the world. There is this ICF only founded in 1995, which is International Coaching Federation, where all the coaches are accredited and they have their schools where you can apply and have your proficiency in that respect. And it's only since 2006 there is coaching business going on in Turkey. It's really new. So as coaches, what we do, coaching is a process where it's a very defined methodology. You take a person from point A to point B and you just are there to help that person in that respect. What is crucial here is that point B is defined by the coachee or the client, himself or herself. So we are not the advisors, we are not the consultants, we do not tell about our own stories to our clients. We just sit there in the coaching position, so we called. Coaching position is a position you are just there for your client. You ask strong questions and you just use all the methodologies you have learned about coaching. You apply some tools and you apply some processes, and usually it takes around, let's say, 6 times of sessions if you're dealing with a private personal coaching. But on the corporate side, corporations, why do they need coaching? Actually, I was in the financial sector for 25 years, and since my last 5 years is in coaching, and since I have been working in teams and with people for the 25 years as a manager myself, or I was managed by my managers, we have all seen that every company has a cash box. That's what we call as a coaching house. In the cash box, we say we invest in people for their knowledges and for their skills. And we hire them mostly because they know the things that we want them to know, and we invest in their skills. But when it comes to the habits and the attitudes, it is the place where we depart our ways with the employees. So what we thought about as coaching house and as in the coaching business as coaches, we said, okay, you have to inspire people, you have to have their motivation back in business. In order to motivate people, you have to motivate them innerly, not outerly. I mean, inner motivation is very important. So corporations also have now very eager to have coaches. Since we are outsiders, since we do not know their businesses, so we are not biased in what they're doing. We are there, we don't know about the business, and so we can help them. How do we help? We help them in teams. They take team coachings, they take executive coachings, they take leadership coachings, and they take performance coachings. Whatever you want to define it in the organization, you can define it as such, because when companies, for example, you launch a product, before launching the product, you need to get your teams work together. You need to have a common language in that team, and you have to have the same understanding, same vision as the head managers have. In order to attain that, actually, what coaches do, we facilitate the programs. We act mostly as facilitators, but since coaching is a state of mind and it is a way of approaching people, we are there, we ask very strong questions, and by strong questions we usually mean open-ended questions, so that they can inspire, so that they can find their own solutions. Because what we believe is that everybody has their own solution. We have all the resources we need to have. Only under stress we tend not to look at them. So if you consider us, if there is a subject here on the table, when we talk about the subject, we are just putting lights on it. We just focus on the subject and we help them to find out their solutions on that subject. That's actually what coaching is, in brief.
That is a big summary of everything.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to break down the things that you gave us in a very in a general overview, because I want to understand a little bit more deeply about what you said. Give us some more detail about why the need for coaching developed in Turkey and elsewhere, because why didn't they have such a mechanism that could, for outsiders to come and help you before, for example? How did this need evolve?
Actually, there are outsiders helping them to evolve their knowledge and skills. You know, we have trainers who are coming and training. Let's say if they need technical trainings, they take it. But what we see, even if you are technically trained, after a while you forget about what you learn, especially in soft skill programs, because there are very much training getting done in corporations on soft skills. But in a soft skill program, once you get your soft skill, you have to apply it, you have to internalize it. So in order to do that, you need a coach to do it with you. It has to be valuable for you to put it in your habits and attitudes. If something is valuable for you, then you do it. So there comes the motivation. What this coaching actually is doing is that we try to find out your values through your words and through yourself, so that you get motivated for the values you want to attain. During day life, under stress, as we know, we are working globally everywhere. Although if you're working in a local company, it's global, you have to be global. And the decision-making mechanism has to be very quick now. I mean, you cannot say, I have a week to decide. So these all put stress on people. Once you're under stress, you are usually not able to consider all aspects of your decisions. Once you make a decision which is correct for yourself, you have to consider if it's correct for the whole system. So coach is there to find you out if it is correct for the whole system. She or he asks you the correct questions, strong questions, so that you can just see the whole system and make the decision accordingly, so you get the most out of it from the solution you find. Corporations, coming to your question, we have potentials, but we believe that we do not use all our potential at work. In order to use full potential, we have to be happy, we have to be motivated. To get motivated, I have to find a meaning. Why do I work in that company? What is it there for me? Why is it valuable for me to work in that company? So in the career coaching and also on the HR part, HR people are now very keen on working with coaches. When you work with coaches, it doesn't mean that you cannot have your own coaches in the company. You can have your own coaches. So people get their talents and knowledge through coaching companies, coaching schools, and then you can have your own lines, you can have your own system. But what is more advised in that respect for the companies is that we do not advise the managers to coach their people working for them. Because,
why not?
Because in the coaching sessions, you have to be very fully opened. You have to be able to share what are your visions, what are your dreams, what are your fears, so that you can move beyond your fears, so that you can achieve what you want to achieve. Usually in corporations, as employees, we do not want to discuss that much of our, let's say, subjects with our managers. So what we advise them is that coaching is a position you hold, it's a communication skill. So once you learn the ability and skill how to coach, how to ask the question, how to make other people to find his or her own solution, so that he or she is committed to the solution. Because when you advise, you say, do this and that. Okay, I do it once or twice. But if it's not my way of doing it, I quit doing it. So in order to engage me in the process, you have to ask me, why should I do it? How should I do it? Once I find it myself, then I commit myself as an employee. That's why corporations are really fond of working with coaches and having their coaches inside coaches.
So it seems like one of the ideas is that the person already, because the person is giving you the answer, so we actually, as the person who's asking for coaching, knows what the solution is. So is that the idea in some of the principles, that the person knows everything?
Yes, the person knows everything. The only thing that, of course, when you, as a client, when you come to us and say, if I am the one to find out my own solutions, why I'm there, then they get to it after 2 or 3 sessions. They understand the procedure. They understand that whatever they find out actually is through the questions, through the processes we apply them, through the tools, because then they say, oh, I knew this before, but now I found it out. That's great. That's how they get inspired. You have to make them inspired so that they can see from all points of view.
It's nice to be able to inspire people with your questions, right?
Yeah, it's really, sometimes I think of myself, why don't I pay them instead of paying them? I get inspired myself. In Teamworks, the corporations usually they get most out of coaching is that when they are in a project, let's say they are doing an IT project, and in that respect they have to put many people from many departments all together and form a team. But you cannot call it a team, because when you gather all those people and say, okay, you're going to work together and you're going to, achieve this goal and do this project. It doesn't go like that. You have to really form a team. So we do a team coaching as coaches. We say, okay, in order to be a team, you have to first make the ground rules yourself. What are your values in that team? What are your strengths that you can use in that team for that specific project? For example, in one team project, my strength would be good communication. In another project, my strength would be analyzing. So everybody has very different strengths in terms of, let me say, character, in terms of abilities. So there comes the positive psychology, actually.
I was going to ask you that because every time you say strength, I'm feeling good about myself. It's all these positive things that you think about yourself that make you feel good. So, is this what the base of positive psychology is?
That's it. Because for many years, psychiatrists and psychologists, what they did was, okay, we are not good enough. They tried to take us to zero base. So what positive psychology says, you have to get further beyond that. You have to be more happier. You can be more happier. So they try to work on that. And what they said was that, okay, if you are enjoying your strengths, if you're enjoying whatever is making you happy, try to have it, most of it, in your life. So actually in HR departments, in the interviews, there is no more such questions as, why did you quit your job? Why do you want to work here is the new question that we ask when we interview people. It's because we want to understand why is that employee specifically want to work with you. So when we do the career coaching or interview coaching, that's what we try to find out, what is that person's specific strengths about himself and with the company that it can get along with, that comply with. So there comes the positive psychology. We always talk about positives. We do not talk about problems. We always talk about solutions. So what we say, unless there is a solution, there is a problem. So you have to put the solution so that you don't talk about the problem. Of course we have problems in the organizations, but once you talk about a problem, you can't go nowhere. If a client comes to you and talks about a problem of his or own, we don't talk about it. We don't deal with the past. Whatever we deal from the past is the success story. Really good about it. You have to be practicing it. You have to be trained first, and you have to be practicing it for a while, because you cannot be a coach. Our tendency is to give advices. In the Turkish culture, we like to talk about our problems to our friends, And when we talk to a friend, we want to get an advice, and we do give advices. As a coach, since we do not give advice, actually it's really very hard to be a coach, because you have to be there with all your senses, with all your heart and ears. We call it elephant ears. You have to listen to the value words, what is important. We follow the agenda of our client, not our agenda. Usually we are it's in habit that we usually think about our examples. We say, I had the same thing, I did and this and that, and it worked for me. Okay, it might work for you as well, but you should find it your way. So one is life coaching. It's very common. You hear about art coaching, artist coaching, sports coaching. They're all there. It's all fine. But on the corporate level, executive coaching is very common. Because if you're going to promote someone to a managerial position, you need to actually have him work with a coach so that he or she can really understand what he or she needs in managing, what types of styles they need to apply, what is it good for him to, what is his best way to express himself or herself, what he needs to learn more in order to do it better. When you work with a corporation, actually we do mentor coaching, because you be a coach and at the same time you're a mentor if you're in the same business line. For example, when I coach at banks, since I was a banker for 25 years, okay, I do mentor coaching so that I can have some advices combined with my coaching session. It's okay. But you can be a mentor only on the subject that you know. As a coach, of course, you can be there for everyone, even for a military people, to a politician, to an artist, whatever, or to a little child. Not too little, but to a child, you can coach.
Okay, so just to give an overview, it seems coaching focuses on the now, focuses on the strengths of people and the positive sides, and the future, of course. Now and the future.